past is history, the future mystery. This moment is the gift.
Welcome, Miracle Makers. It's Dr. Sara Larson. I'm so grateful that you're here. I want to share my journey and the process that I've gone through to get to where I am today. Oh my gosh. This is season 3, and season 3 of Miracle Makers. Season 1, we were called Mysteries and Miracles and the Medium. And season 2, by season 2, we had evolved to Miracle Makers, and then went on to Miracle Makers that you're seeing right now. A little village girl from Pakistan, who watched amazing movies come to life on a black and white screen and my grandparents' home, gets to be in studio where all of those great movies were made, where all of this amazing joy and heightened experiences of my childhood were created. Every time I watched a movie that came to life on that screen, I knew there were pyramids, and I knew like the Sinbad stories, all of these magical experiences that allowed me to know there was more than just what I could see in front of me. And so today's show, it's so exciting. When I first used to come in studio here, and I would always wear a ball gown. Like the first season, I was always in a ball gown, and it was the funnest experience for me because life for me, my clothing for me is an expression of what I'm feeling and an extension of myself. And so I felt, darling, I have arrived. Mm-hmm. I've come to this place, and it's such a shiny, amazing a possibility to give. It was such an experience to be here with you. So I cannot thank you enough, Miracle Makers, for this experience of being able to share with you. And today you are going to be more capable of doing it yourself, awakening. No longer dependent on something outside yourself to help you wake up. That's what today's show is all about for you. And then we want you to call in. Our call-in number is 323-524-2599. That number again, 323-524. 323-524-2599. Will you call us? Let us know how we can help you more. And the thing that you're definitely going to get is how you can help yourself more. That's the result of speaking with me, is you get clear on you. You get clear on how to help yourself. Today in studio are some of my most amazing men in my life. There's 3 beautiful men here. Amazing, extraordinary, joy-filled experience to have Tyler Larsen and Greg Larson.
Welcome, Miracle Makers.
Welcome. And the third one is Tony, our producer. Woohoo! We're all co-creating this experiment with you to really get 10 people, places, and experiences that woke me up. And these are so you can wake up as well. Tyler, what does it mean to you when I say, the 10 people, places, and experiences that woke me up?
Oh, well, one of them was yesterday, me snowboarding. Whenever you fall, that really wakes you up.
Thank you, Joanne, for taking Tyler snowboarding and waking up. Right, every time you have a fall, that wakes you up. It's something that wakes you and your sister were two of the people, along with my own sister, that woke me up. I knew I wanted to be good at love. My younger brothers and sisters, these are, 10 people, places, experiences that woke me up. My sister, from the time she existed, my mom said, your job is to love her. Your job is to make sure she's okay. Then she and I together made sure that was what we did for our younger brothers. We made sure that they were okay. We took care of them. My mom giving me a purpose that had the instructions to love in it. And before I could speak, before I could do anything, really, really gave me this gift of loving. That was the journey, that process. My mom directly saying that, my sister directly being there. But my daughter, when I got pregnant with her, I had to wake up and no longer have an eating disorder and no longer have the emotional challenges, because I knew that the eggs that were forming inside her, she was forming inside me, and the eggs that were forming inside her would form my grandkids, would form the future, would form and build bridges to nature correcting itself. And then beloved Tyler, who's here with us, this beloved, beautiful boy, when he came along and he could see angels and we could communicate with his imaginary friends and all of the experiences, the way that he saw each of our friends, the way that Jazzy loved each of the beings that we were once at Chuck E. Cheese. And at Chuck E. Cheese, I was holding Tyler and Jazzy was walking around. She was barely 2.5. And we gave her unlimited tokens, right? She could have as many tokens as she wanted. We were there celebrating. And she would take and leave tokens at different Chuck E. Cheese rides. And I'd say, baby, what are you doing? And then she, in her language, said, oh, there's kids here that don't have tokens. And they can't get on the rides. So if I enjoy the ride, I leave tokens for the kids. And wherever it's that message, that waking up, she would go to the museum and hug people and say, I love you, I love you, I love you, to absolute strangers. LACMA Museum, Chuck E. Cheese, all of the places with Tyler on the mountain. Do you remember when we made rain on the mountain, baby? Mm-hmm. Do you want to share what that was like for you?
Well, I remember we had like this big hike up this mountain, and there was like, we hiked from like here to here, and you could go a little bit higher up, but we stopped here because we wanted to make rain, because it was when the drought was still going on in California. So I remember we all, like, every person got an instrument, like something to shake or something to hit, and then we all, like, move around in the circle, and we'd all tap our instrument to the beat, and then it started raining after, like, a couple minutes of doing that.
And it was clear skies, absolute pure clear skies. The drought was happening. It was extraordinary. It was a hot day, and all of a sudden, within moments of us being in this circle, that's what it means to some degree to be awake. So let me describe what awake is. Thank you, Tyler. That was so beautiful. It was so much fun. Do you remember we had to wait up at the top because it stormed so much?
We had to stay up there because we couldn't walk back down and get to our car because it was raining too much.
For the like the sliding, and it just wasn't safe, and we didn't have the gear on, but it's so beautiful. The Dalai Lama, I would consider awake, fully awake. And when I learned that the Dalai Lama once said he was hanging out with people, and he said, "Oh my gosh, I've got to go check on the weather." And someone asked a clarifying question, said, "What does that mean?" He said, "Oh, well, I heard this temperature, this is happening. I've got to go make the weather. That's the weather report is coming in. And this is the weather we need in order to embody peace." What does it mean to be awake? So a dog, a cat, a bird, a fish, all wake up and all move about their day. All of them reproduce children, trees, everything is reproducing. And in its highest self-interest. And the only difference that we're fully aware of is, as humans, you can direct your thoughts. You can direct your hand to make motion. You can make rain. If your thoughts, so to be fully awake is your thoughts and your emotions, keep yourself in the highest level of pleasantness. That's what it is in a simple definition, to be awake. But there's so many levels of consciousness. There's as many levels of consciousness as there are people in the world. And just like we can categorize a person as male, female, or as a they or a them because they've androgynous, or they're working out who they are for themselves, you can direct your hand. You can direct your thoughts and your emotions to keep yourself in the highest level of pleasantness. That's what it is to be awake. Baby Tyler, I'm so glad that you're closing out this season with us, right? Mm-hmm. Season 3, we have one more show. I want you to be sure that you tune in next week as well. It's going to be an extraordinary show. What do you feel helps people direct their thoughts and emotions?
It's a hard question. I feel like it's really what happens in the moment that helps. Like, there could be different situations that you could be in, and you have to be able to direct your emotions to be in the situation and not thinking about the past or the future. To be in the moment.
To be in the moment. It's so beautiful, because this is this beautiful man sitting next to Tyler, this beautiful husband of mine, father of Tyler's, but really was one of the biggest awakenings that I've ever had. When I met him, he said, "I don't believe in doctors." And he started to teach me how not to speak so others will approve of you, how to actually speak so that you do not manipulate another person or another person's experience. To be fully present in the moment is an extraordinary thing. Baby, thank you so much for just being you and expressing everything you do the way you do for us.
You're so welcome, my love.
What's happening with you? You look all emotional. I know it's not.
I have a very sore throat.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying not to cough right now.
Oh, yeah. I got it. Yeah. Okay. That's so beautiful. Thank you.
But now I know what to do as an actor when I need to be emotional. I just have to
fake a sore throat.
Fake a sore throat. Yeah. Then I get some tears in my eyes.
Oh. This is so funny.
I can do the onion trick, too. I've done that for many years. So.
The onion trick. Yeah. Greg, my darling husband, is an actor as well as...
Wait, where would you put the onion?
You put in your palm. You're like, oh, I'm so sad.
Oh, I put it in my back pocket one time. It didn't work.
Yeah, you can't put it in the back pocket. You have to have it. You have to like cup it in your hand like a magician. Like,
Yes.
so sad. Yeah, it's working. Does that make sense?
What happens if you like drop it? You're gonna have like a dirty onion.
Tyler, professional actors don't do that. I'm not saying I'm a professional actor. You don't. I know your has his ideas about who I am and how professional I am, but professionals don't do that. Yes.
Yes. Awesome. It's conducting consciously, right?
Yeah.
It's this number one, conducting your life, your thoughts, your emotions in the present moment consciously. And as you're conducting, oh my gosh, your thoughts, even as you're keeping the highest level of pleasantness, if that's part of everything that you're going through, is to really bring up, and again, this isn't about being fake. It's about authentically, really directing your words, your actions, your conversation to generously, authentically be present and create pleasantness. It's such a beautiful gift that we get to give. So there's a list of some of the people, and as we dive in, I'm going to share more and more of the story. As I'm sharing what woke me up, it's really important to understand that if you are seeking another's approval, you are on some level still at the level of wanting to manipulate society or curate someone else's emotions. And the only thing that you can do is really change yourself. The only thing that's real is you and your level of consciousness. You can either say everyone is awake, yourself included, or no one is awake. In your do-it-yourself journey to waking yourself up, you can really start with that, conducting yourself consciously. Am I awake? It's so beautiful to ponder that question and to consciously conduct your thought. If you're creating rain in a circle, in that moment, you're awake. But a little while later, if you're eating mindlessly in the kitchen, you're not awake. To really, really get that we're all in this together, that as you conduct your thoughts and you co-create consciously, so does everyone else. And baby, can we put on Miracle Makers Academy the 10 do-it-yourself steps? Because I'm thinking we're already at 12:19. Can we send that out on Miracle Makers Academy if people sign up for the newsletter? Right now it says happy and healthy as the meditations.
Okay.
But could you help me? Because I've got a list of 10 here.
Okay.
And I really want to be able to read people. But the do it yourself, to wake yourself up, but the thoughts to think, the experiences and places to go. You can wake up in your own bathroom. You can wake up in Egypt. You can wake up in a river. You can wake up on the top of a mountain. But if you're not present with the experience, if you brought your past into it, and if you're not bringing brilliant questions with you to the experience, it's going to be hard to wake up. So conducting your thoughts and emotions consciously is really asking yourself great questions. You've got to notice what the questions are that you're asking yourself. What are the questions? And this is what I love doing. I love to show people the questions that they're asking themselves over and over again and living into. And sometimes it's easier to really see the subtle thoughts that are blocking you from being able to see the experience with clarity. And sometimes it's a little bit more difficult, and you take a lot of the lessons over and over and over again. So you'll have the same experience over and over and over again. So level of pleasantness, conducting your thoughts, this level of what are you asking yourself? And if you're saying, oh gosh, that what is my mind paying attention to? So we hold on to the negative thoughts like Velcro. You will hold on to your negative thoughts like Velcro. So you go and you hang out in a room full of people and you guys haven't seen each other in a while. This is why this conversation is so important right now. If you constantly remind yourself of the negative, which your mind has registered to keep you safe, if you remind yourself of the negative, you're not going to have a good time in that experience. And neither will anyone else. If you're looking through that lens of there is something wrong here, or she's wrong, or he's wrong, because of a past experience, you're going to not enjoy the current moment. So you've got to make it a practice to stick, to Velcro the good experiences. Your mind tends to flesh the good experiences with a person. And it's like Teflon. It slides right off. So to wake up, you've got to register the pleasantness that you've experienced in the places that you've gone, in the ideas that have really, that same idea. It's so funny. We made a Facebook Live recently. And when Greg and I first met, I would stick my head out the car. We would be on the highway, and he had a convertible. I would stand up in the convertible as we sped down the highway. And he would say, I love that about you, baby. We have pictures of me doing that over and over again. And 15 years into our relationship, marriage, now when I do it, it irritates him. And it's like, you're going to get yourself hurt. You're the mother of my children. What are you doing?
I feel like it's kind of like now that he has kids, he's like, imagine if I stuck my head out the window. How would you feel? I'd be like, ah!
See, we have different value systems.
Yeah,
and this is to me, being awake is recoding yourself and your life experiences. Or you recode to be truly free of fear. So if I'm tuned into myself, I'm tuned into the current moment, I'm tuned into traffic and all of the experiences, it's an amazing gift that you give yourself. It's so beautiful, this gift that you give yourself of enjoying the most pleasant thing that you can create. I'm going to say that in other ways. There was a time that Tyler's best friend, Spencer, was having a birthday party, and I was teaching a retreat in Ojai. And it takes about at least 2 hours for us to get from Ojai to his party. And we would have been late if we didn't get there in roughly 45 minutes. So kids before a certain age can really co-create with you so geniusly if you know how to do that. It's such a gift. So Tyler, Jazzy, and I created time. And this was consciously done. We used our thoughts and our emotions for the journey that would take 2 to 2.5 hours took 45 minutes. Tyler, do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah, just share a little bit about that experience.
I remember it. We'd be in the car, and you'd be like, sometimes we might have gotten like a late start or something going somewhere. And then we'd be like, you'd just be like, calm down, just be happy. We're going to make it there on time. And then we just have that mindset. And then it'd be like, it seemed like we were going to be an hour late. And then we'd get there like on time.
We would get there on time. And I've done this with clients and friends. But Tyler, that was so amazing to co-create that experience with the kids where you literally create time. This is the process of waking up and being extraordinary. This process no one else can do for you. If you are blaming the bearer of the reflection that you're getting of yourself, you are, we've got that old saying, we're going to be late, right? The clock is saying we're going to be late. And you're like, you're blaming the time. You have taken yourself, or you blame yourself. You're like, we should have gotten an earlier start. You can say whatever, but if there is blame in that moment, you are knocking your personal power out. You are not waking up. If you go, wow, this is what's meant to be, and it's okay, and we're going to recreate. That's exactly what creates time. It creates money. It creates love. It creates joy. It creates pleasantness. The process of really waking up is getting into a space of no matter what is happening or being shown to you, you are not blaming yourself. You're not blaming a circumstance. Instead, you are breathing. And it's the Course in Miracles, right? The Course in Miracles is, in my defenselessness, my safety is beholden or created. If you're like defending yourself or defending a past way of being or defending that you can never get to a safe place. It's such a beautiful place to be in and to experience all of life with grace and ease. So right now, so many of us are saying, it's the government, it's this, it's that. So many areas are really showing and that the environment, Earth, we've got to be okay with exactly everyone and everything out there as it is right now. That doesn't mean we don't want to change it. With Tyler going from Ojai to his best friend's birthday party, being on time. This is so beautiful. And anyone that wants to call in, we would love for you to call in and get very clear. 323-524-2599. Baby, will you post that on Facebook too and have people call in the phone number if it's not already posted? It is already posted.
It's in the post.
Oh, it's in the post.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What's happening on social media?
Bonnie said, love you, Sarah.
Oh, Bonnie, love you. So glad you're here. Bonnie, we'd love for you to call in. There are a few other people we'd love for you to just go through this experience. If your thoughts and emotions are keeping you in the highest level of pleasantness, people can help you with this. People that have gone through what you've gone through can help you get there. So, Greg, go ahead, Tyler.
And I just want to share a little story from yesterday when I went snowboarding with my friend. So we were going up this lift, and we'd go to like like halfway or like a quarter way up the hill, and then we'd come down. But we really didn't know how to stop yet because this was only our second time. So we'd just kind of go, and then we'd fall to stop ourselves. And then my friend went to go. I think he had to go get a jacket because it was hot up. It was hot up there. It was snowing. There was snow down, but it was still hot. So he took off his jacket because he had a big jacket. And he took off his jacket, but whenever he fell, he'd scrape up his elbows. So he went to go get his jacket from the car. And then I was like, all right, I'll just go up by myself one time and try and get better. And I met this boy named Jacob. And he said it was his second time, but he just came out of a lesson. And he was, super friendly. He lived in the moment. Because, he just saw me, and he was like, hey, want to snowboard together? And I was like, sure. And as we were going up the lift, if he saw someone fall, he'd say, hey, are you okay? And then they'd have a conversation. And then once we passed by them, he'd see another person fall. And he was such a friendly guy. And then once we got to the top, he taught me how to stop. And then once we got back down, Taj, my friend, he came back with his jacket. And then we both went up with Jacob. And then he taught us how to stop. And he was a great teacher because he'd snowboard down to a part and then he'd stop and be like, all right, now follow my path. So we'd snowboard down and then try to stop. And then we had a little competition. Whoever fell the most got a snowball thrown at them. So me and Taj had a competition where he'd go down a little bit and then we'd try and follow his path and stop. And if you fell, you lost a point, and we both started with 10 points. And it was really close till the end. And then right at the end, I made it down because he was up 4-2. And then at the end, and if you fell forward, you lost 2 points. If you fell back, you lost 1. So I went down and I fell. So I was at, it was 3 to 5. And then I fell backwards. So I lost. And it was 2. I had 2, and then he fell forwards once, and then coming down, he fell backwards when he tried to stop. So we tied, and we both got to throw a snowball at each other.
That is great, baby. It's so darling to really, really this play wakes us up. Creating games out of what we're playing. And this story and what you bring, what modern man, modern woman, modern children bring to our world. This is one of the lessons that was so huge in Egypt. You also went to Egypt with, right? This, the snowboarding, this whole year, you've had so many experiences. And those that are awake look at each other and share the experience, create a game, create laughter, create play. And those that are not yet awake, because we'll all wake up together. We'll all have the experience together, getting into the present moment. What would you share about the experience in Egypt for waking up? Because that was one of the places that really helped wake me up, wake you up.
It was just it was a great time because when we went into the pyramids and we went into that one room, the
King's Chamber.
The King's Chamber, and we turned off all the lights. I remember I was the first one to come in because we had to crawl through a narrow little shaft thing. So I was the first one to come in, and when I came in, I took a footstep, and it echoed around the whole room. So I started stomping around, and then everyone else came in, and we turned off all the lights, and then we did a little prayer, just some oming, and how it sounded like there was 100 people in there.
100 people within the King's Chamber. So beautiful. The waking up, the deep spiritual wisdom and knowledge within yourself. It's quite an experience, right? And in that space, it's just so beautiful. What are places that Mount Baldy which we went to with the Ethereal Society, but really woke us up to the rain experience, woke us up to what we can experience there. Going to Egypt, going to Mount Shasta, Sedona, Arizona. For me, being in India was quite a wake-up call. Baby, what was the wake-up call for you?
India, for sure, yeah.
I'd love
really
for you to share
profound-
some of the meditation that you did in a tree.
Well, I didn't meditate in a tree, but the gentleman that I was staying with, that was his practice. He would go out on it was a fairly large limb, so you could sit, in meditation cross-legged on it. But after I watched him do that for a while, I inquired, why do you go into a tree and meditate? And he said, it's so easy to become unaware while you're meditating and to drift, even to fall asleep.
Yes.
But if you're sitting in a tree, it's you have to be much more alert to what's happening.
Yes.
So he felt it amplified his meditation experience because sitting in the tree limb 10 feet off the ground,
yes,
you had to be alert to what you were doing.
So that Tao Te Ching saying, be as alert as in enemy territory.
A warrior in enemy territory.
A warrior in enemy territory with the kind-heartedness of a grandmother.
That's right.
That awareness, that alertness, that idea, meditation, and your life becoming a walking meditation to really be as alert as a warrior going into enemy territory with the heart of a kind-hearted grandmother, and the awareness of traveling out into space, seeing all of creation, the mountains and the peaks. That meditation. Can you share just a little bit about that?
Well, that was not a meditation. That was I'm not versed enough in the various forms of travel, if it was astral travel or out-of-body travel. I'm not for sure what it was. But we were sitting around the fire towards the end of this 5-week stay I had in this village. And this gentleman, Jason, who was the meditation guy up in the tree, he was telling the story about the largest planet in the universe and the largest mountain on that planet. And as he was saying that, literally, I left the place I was sitting by the fire, and I was standing on this mountain, and which it was so high up that it was like I was in low orbit, so I could see the planet spinning in space. And the planet was so massive that it rumbled as it was, orbiting or rotating in space. And then I was back at the fire. But I was there long enough to feel that, to see that, to experience it as though I was there. So I definitely, my consciousness in some way had left my body where I was sitting at the fire in Goa, India, and I was at this place in the universe.
So beautiful.
Yeah, very profound. I didn't talk about it for many years because it was just so weird. It was just, not weird, it was so deep, it was so impactful.
And I remember you saying you were searching for it again. You went searching for that experience. And when you got back to school, St. Thomas, you were in a tree for a little while, or climbing trees and throwing out your TV. And can you just share a little bit about that experience? So you had this profound, deep connection with the universe. You didn't have the label for it, right? Mm-hmm. So many of the experiences that are really, truly meaningful, you won't have labels for until much later in life, if you seek those labels in the mystery school teachings or in the Miracle Makers Academy, you'll have labels for them. But go ahead, baby.
Well, it wasn't at St. Thomas because I was studying in Lancaster, England, at the University of Lancaster, or Lancaster University,
yes.
Which one it is. So, and it was, this was the summer semester. And so, I had just a few classes, and so I had a lot of time to meditate. And this university is built on the grounds of an old estate, an old manor. So there's tons of like rolling pasture and hills. So I would often meander out to where no one was and sit in one of these rolling hills with lush grass. And I would lay there and look up at the sky or meditate. And so I had time to kind of just integrate that experience. I wasn't, back in LA, like, what's next? Where are we going now? It's like I had lots of space to really integrate what that was.
That's so beautiful.
But I had no teacher to help, kind of bring meaning to that or language to that.
Yes.
So it was a language-less experience.
And what do you think it might have offered you if you would have had something to give you meaning to that experience? I'm just curious.
Oh, it just would have been a way to integrate it even more.
To integrate it even more.
Then the first thing I was given towards the end of the summer, there was another American student there from Georgia, and he gave me the Tao Te Ching on cassette tape.
Yes.
And so I started listening to that, and it was like, wow, okay, this is helping me. That was the teacher, was the Lao Tzu and the Tao Te Ching.
When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so it's so beautiful. And so let's take our first caller, and we'll see what we can come up with here. Welcome, caller. It's Dr. Sara Larson and Greg Larson and Tyler Larson and Tony in studio for you. Hi.
Hello?
Hi, it's you. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
We can hear you clearly. What can we answer for you?
Oh, I was just, I wanted to say that I saw some of your videos with the palm reading, and I was really impressed with it. I was actually trying to learn from your videos, and I saw that you had this show, and I was really happy to see that you were live today. So I just wanted to say thank you for allowing anybody to call in. So getting to my question, I don't really have a question per se, but is there anything your spiritual guides would like for me to know?
Thank you. And I do teach every week within Miracle Makers Academy, and quite often we take the lesson into the medical palmistry within Miracle Makers Academy. It's so beautiful. Just so you know, for a short period of time, I went through a phase where I wasn't doing palmistry because a voice within myself said it was complete. What I teach within Miracle Makers Academy how to do it yourself. And then in private sessions, just so you know, so it's out there, that I do the medical awareness, what result your thoughts, or also we have different timelines that we can be on. And your hand shows you the timeline that you're currently living in and the quickest way to get to a higher version of life experience through it. And it's such a beautiful thing. And part of that is you wind up feeling healthy and full of joy. So we're still doing it. It's just in Miracle Makers Academy. It's in the experiences we have there. What's coming in for you is you're so pleasant. You're one of the nicest people that this is what your guides are saying. And there's such a change that's come into your life. Like your ability to love and your ability to change things around you is what you're seeing a great deal of now. Does that sound right?
Yes. I feel like I've always been nice, but through learning about yoga and through spiritual practices, I feel as if I've amplified my knowledge about how to transform negative energy or just the power within myself and just really learning about myself.
It's really you've kind of always felt infinite, like you always felt what other people were feeling in connection. But what you're doing now is you're synergizing that connection. So this deep breathing with other people, and it's so important for you to start being seen. Like you're meant to share what you know out in the world. And it's really interesting. Invite people over to come spend time with you and to come experience the things that you're doing. So if you're going to yoga class, and even if it's the person at the cash register or that sort of thing, have them, someone that you connect with, say, listen, I go to this yoga class, come hang with me. The reason that I'm sharing this is you've got to
That's so funny.
Yes.
That you say that, because I am often doing things alone, just experiencing the world. That is so funny. You're hitting the nail on the head.
And so it makes such a difference for you to be able to give to yourself this invitation. People really like you and really like hanging out with you. And wherever it is, someone that you make eye contact with and you have a pleasant little conversation with, say, gosh, I go to a yoga studio right down the street. I'm there every this and this. I'd love for you to come sometime. It's such a gift that you give yourself to I met this group of women through Catherine Andrews. Catherine Andrews is an artist. I met them in Agape's parking lot. And the most beautiful art. And this group of girls was called the Playful Princesses. And I got invited to go hang out with them, like in a parking lot at this place called Agape, to go spend time. And we would meet every Monday probably for years. And each one of us would talk about what we were into and growth. We hosted the director of The Secret together, this group of girls. We from the experience of inviting people over, and each one of us every week would take on a topic and teach each other. So Greg and I would host it in our home, and everyone would dress up, and there would be food, and we would just eat together. And then Greg and the kids would leave, and the girls and I would go into what I want. I was the teacher that week because it was in our home, and I would teach on the Course in Miracles. And then the next week, it might be at Tamara's home. She was one of the founders of this. It was her project. And she created this beautiful experience of teachings about breathing. And then there was Sheila, Shishi, and she would create an experience of sexuality. And then there would be girls teaching girls, but I met Catherine Andrews. I got invited in a parking lot looking at a picture. And that invitation shifted everything. So you can create with the yoga studio, or if you feel comfortable having people come to your home, start inviting them over and say, let's form a book club, or let's watch this together people from your yoga, to take it and invite them to your home and say, let's read The Secret together, or Napoleon Hill's book together. Or I love Vishen Lakhiani's work right now, and his work, or Reverend Michael Beckwith, his work, Ricky Beebe's music in the background, right? All of that you can invite in to your home, bring people over to have a regular experience. And each one of you as equals shares what's happening in your lives.
That's beautiful. I'm part of a yoga book club, and our friends and family make fun of it because we go on trips, and we do this to a certain extent. But I like the fact that you are kind of evolving it to where we actually teach each other things rather than just reading books or going on spiritual adventures. I think that would be a nice addition.
That's the do-it-yourself to waking up. Oh, I'm so glad you called in. And I'm sorry I didn't ask you your name.
Oh, it's Jessica.
Jessica, thank you for calling. I look forward to you calling in again soon.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye for now.
Bye.
Yay. I love that. It's the do it yourself, form a group, become each other's teachers. Welcome, Miracle Maker. It's Dr. Sara Larson. Hi, can you hear me? Hi, that's you. We're hearing you. Say hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Yay. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
What's your name?
My name is Ricky Ortiz.
Hi, Ricky. What can we answer for you?
I am a Navajo. I'm a Native American from Gallup, New Mexico. And I've been going through some turmoil with what they call, I guess maybe you can call it witchcraft or whatever you want to call it. And I was wondering, I have this kind of like little energy within inside me that I can talk to like other people or the bad people. I don't know if that's the way to put it, and I was wondering maybe you can tell me something about it or what I'm going through or what my future holds or anything of that sort.
So it's, thank you, Ricky. You bring up such an amazing point that has to be shared. And so I'm going to just do an analogy for a second that will help you be able to navigate this for yourself. Before this beautiful studio that we're in was here, someone caught the spirit of the land and said, oh, I'd love to build something that was happening in the current moment. Back then, right now we're in the oldest studio in Hollywood. Sunset Gower Studios. We're within Universal Broadcasting Network, or we're now called UBN Go. UBN Go. We're within UBN Go. There was the spirit to this energy, the spirit, and then someone got the mental attachment of, let's build something here. Let's put a building. Let's take this modern camera thing, maybe even sound stages. And they started a journey. And then they got energy in motion. They got bankers, and they got the idea from just the mental idea into thought and emotion. And they got it into the highest level of pleasantness together. Everybody woke up together to what could be here. It took a lot of people to wake up together, but to be in building the studio. And then now a physical studio stands. And as long as the spirit is still being served, that this earth is on, that this building is on, the earth beneath it, as long as the spirit is still serving, right, the spirit within it generally, you can deconstruct witchcraft. You can deconstruct anything that's happening that seems to be coming from outside or within deep attachments within yourself. You deconstruct it by getting to really you have to go into the physical world of it first. What are the physical symptoms? What are you experiencing? Where does it show up? Then you have to get the thoughts and the emotions involved. And those, I'm going to call them disincarnates or shadows. Those shadows can be lit up from a higher level of pleasantness. So for me, high levels of pleasantness come in from dancing. They come in from making love to my husband. They come in from spending time in service to the homeless and in service to great friendships. That's where my pleasantness comes in. So first you've got to know what gets your thoughts and emotions at the peak state. Then you've got to go back and look at the emotions. You don't go seeking them out. When they find you, when the disincarnates or the witchcraft or the lower frequencies find you, you've got to engage in the pleasantries. You've got to take yourself into nature and recorrect yourself. And then you go into an experience, then into the just specifically the mental energy of it. Then you get the spiritual energy of it, and nothing has power over you. Did that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
So it's very, we can recreate anything. We can change our culture. We can really, truly become the ancient Egyptians. I haven't read this anywhere else, but I know this from, and as soon as I get enough people in Miracle Makers Academy, my goal is 5,000 people to really help us. Right now we're helping, people on 5 continents on a small scale get education and get funding for or resources that they need. My goal is to get 5,000 people into Miracle Makers Academy. Once we've got that, I'm going to start writing these ancient technologies of 360 senses. We've got 360 for each of the degrees. And you, Ricky, hold so much energy around water. And your ability to let go of these lower levels, these disincarnates, will heal water for us. Is that something you recognize?
Yes, I can actually hear voices through water.
Say that one more time, just so the audience.
I can actually hear voices through water.
What did he say? Forces. You can hear forces through water, is what you said, Ricky. Is that correct?
Voices through water.
Voices. Oh, yes. We hear the ancient voices through the water. Yes, we do. It's the most extraordinary experience. And Ricky, you've got an accurate ability to hear it. The voices in water. So it's as soon as you get balanced within yourself, your interpretation of all of that becomes so amplified, it heals all of our waters. It's so beautiful. Tyler, anything you want to add, baby?
I just remember the angel that I saw was kind of inspired by water because I was selling crystals at, was it Shakti or Bhakti Fest? One of the two. And because we went mining with one of my sister's friends in Colorado, and we got all this, what was it, quartz? Yeah, we got all this quartz, and I would sell it at Bhakti Fest, and I remember I saw in the water, I saw an angel. And then I remember I called my mom, and she was up at a mountain, and she saw an angel at the same time.
It was an extraordinary experience. The water held the angel. Tyler saw it through the medium of water. I saw it right there in the medium. We had described the same exact angel to different people before we actually talked about it ourselves. It was so profound. My point for you is, Ricky, you're extraordinary. Yeah. Get clear. Get clear on this. Do the highest level of pleasantness that you can get into. Start listing those things down. Know this for yourself. What brings you bliss? What brings you joy? When that darkness comes in, then to really start practicing the thing that brings you joy. And you will deconstruct anything anyone else has done to you or your family or to the land that you're on.
Okay, I was on my way kind of to that level, but somehow I got intercepted by these people, and then they're actually can communicate with them a little bit. But now I'm kind of I'm getting to the point that where they are almost gone. I can just barely hear them, just at a real small level. So that's where I'm at right now. As soon as I get rid of them, I think my energy will expand.
So, Ricky, for you, it's speaking in tongues that will rid them when those voices come up. So when they come up, for you to get in joy and then speak in tongues, babble, whatever it comes up, and that will help these voices make their way to the light.
Okay, I think that answers pretty much kind of like what I wanted to hear.
Awesome. I'm so glad that you called in, Ricky. EA Miracle Makers, we love you so much. We will have our next call for the ones that are doing miracles and alchemy. These are higher level courses within Miracle Makers Academy. We'll talk to you guys tonight. Those that are doing the self-love and the self-development higher courses, we see you guys on Saturday. And for everyone in the Academy, I can't wait to see you Tuesday. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Anything you want to add, Tyler?
Snowboarding is fun.
Baby, thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Miracle Maker, so much.
Thank you. Bye for now.
The past is history, the future mystery. This moment is